Hey guys, I just wanted to take a quick minute to send a very special thank you out to all of you. And when I say all of you, I mean everybody. Our viewers, our subscribers, and especially our patrons, because you guys are all coming together to help us pull together and make our goals come true. And for that, believe me when I say, we appreciate it more than you will ever know. So thank you. Now, I know we've been a little scarce the last month or so, but of course that's because we started traveling. So I have a lot to catch you guys up on as we start our new adventures. I also have a ton of new tech videos coming up about some great new cruising gear and accessories, stuff I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy. I'll just say thanks again to all of you for following along with our adventures, and with that, I'll take you back to where we left off from the last episode as we were just departing our beloved San Andres. So, enjoy guys, and thanks again. Bye-bye, San Andres. We'll miss you. Panama. On to the next chapter.
To keep it together.
Hey girl, I never ever thought we'd be, I never ever thought I'd see. Then I saw your smile. Oh, we can go across the oceans and see the world tonight. Oh, say hello to the mountains and watch the new sunrise. But no matter what the country, the city, the street, by land or by sea, together forever is my favorite place to be.
Look, the big one. Have a look at the little and the big one.
Yeah, we got them on the bow, right here. We're surrounded. Everywhere. Wow, that's a lot of dolphins. Cool. Thanks guys, that's a nice send-off from San Andres. Wow.
Skin slowly as if to say, let's take our time today. Ooh, take a breath.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
Hopeful and full of life, in every scar a tear that you cry. Even when you're scared at night, I know you are brave. Take a step.
So a little further into our trip, we end up motoring in tandem with our friends on Silcap. We're running close so we can report depth information back and forth on the VHF, because we've just entered an area of water that is extremely shallow. And yes, we're out in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, so you can imagine it can be a bit unnerving. We've heard about this area of water before and been told that it is charted very poorly. And in fact, we did find it to be about 1 mile off of its charted position. So that means we have to pay attention very, very closely, or things stop very fast. But what we've also heard is that there are 2 little tiny remote islands out here called the Albuquerque Cays. Very remote and very beautiful. They are also owned by Colombia, but since we've been in San Andres, the islands were always off limits for any tourist activities. Now, you know me, it's been a long time since I regarded myself as a tourist. But anytime anybody asks permission to go to these islands, it's always declined. So what we finally heard through the grapevines was, stop asking permission because they're obligated to say no. But if you do just show up, as long as you don't do anything stupid, you'll probably be allowed to visit. So we thought we'd take our chances and see what happens. But first, we have to get there without hitting anything on the bottom. Therein lies the trick.
What do you do? What do you do? We almost arrived.
Yeah, we're just weaving between the shoals here, and that's a 6-foot one on our left side, on our port side there now. If we clear on that, we should be able to just go down here and then bank up and then in behind the South Island.
Too fast.
Tiki tiki. Ano?
Every day I'm awake, I'm grateful for your love. 'Cause you're making me brave when you say that I am enough. Every night, close my eyes, know that I can do anything. When we're together, you know we're better, and we'll run this town someday. We could shoot for the moon to the tune of our own songs. Melodies only we could sing inside us all along. Everything that I dream of seems so possible.
And of course, once we were safely at anchor, it took the girls all of about 5 minutes to break out our new underwater scooters from Subblue and hit the water. Off to do some exploring.
I have set my sails on fire and watched my vessel sink. 'Cause I've seen the shores of every tide, but I still wished I was in your sea. I had buried my wandering heart deep into the earth. 'Cause when we were mountaintops apart, oh how I longed for your valley deep. Oh, anywhere I run, I can see the sun. 'Cause you are the light in my eyes, in my eyes. Anywhere I go, I can feel your soul burning like the stars in the sky, in the sky. And I'm like, they keep the lights on, maybe start a fire. Don't you know that I'm coming home? Oh, for good this time. Oh, anywhere I run, I can see the sun. 'Cause you are the light in my eyes, in my eyes. Anywhere I go, I can feel your soul burning like the stars in the sky, in the sky. And I'm like, ooh. And I see after all these miles that we're meant to be wild and wild and free and never in style. But we would be together and smile at all the memories of you and me. Anywhere I run, I can see the sun. 'Cause you are the light in my eyes, in my eyes. Anywhere I go, I can feel your soul burning like the stars in the sky, in the sky. And I'm like, I can see the sun. 'Cause you are the light in my eyes, in my eyes. Anywhere I go, I can feel your soul burning like the stars in the sky, in the sky.
So I guess now might be a good time to tell you about this island's inhabitants. You saw how fast these guys appeared out of nowhere as soon as there was 2 girls in bikinis on the beach, right? Well, as it turns out, this island is exclusively inhabited by a military base of Colombian Armada. There's a group of about 20 or so individuals that are all here as a training exercise in living in remote locations and off-grid. And I guess you could say this qualifies. But anyway, the guys on the beach let the girls know that it shouldn't be a problem for us to stay, but the Comandante had requested a meeting with the Capitan, me. So the girls swam back to the boat to let me know so that we could get ourselves arranged and go to shore with all of our paperwork. I guess now would be a good time to tell you about our experience with the drone. While we were flying the drone around this island, it just mysteriously stopped. Now sometimes this happens with a drone, it loses communications with the controller and it will stop, and after a few seconds, if it doesn't regain communication with the controller, it'll go into auto return to home, which means it'll increase its altitude to whatever you programmed, usually about 100 feet, so it'll clear any trees in the way and then start on its way home. But this drone is not out of control, it's just not under our control. It just stopped and sat there. We still had display, but it was not responding to any control movements. And that can be unnerving, because it sat here for 4 long minutes and wouldn't respond. Just sat there and looked at the trees. Luckily it had enough battery, or it would have just gone into auto descent, which in that case we call it dead drone. So I'm not sure if the guys at the base had some kind of control mechanism to take over drones, but I can honestly say I've never seen anything like this happen before. After 4 minutes, it was released, we regained control, and brought it home. Fast. But then, once we got word that our presence was requested ashore, I grabbed all the paperwork and went over in the dinghy. As soon as we got close to the beach, a guy in full camouflage, and I mean full camouflage, including a machine gun, comes out of the woods to greet us. He says he's there to escort us to the base commander, so we follow him accordingly. Now, unfortunately, no filming is allowed on the island, but I will say that everybody there was incredibly cordial and very friendly, very welcoming. They gathered our paperwork, stamped us in, said no problem, you can stay a couple of days, but for security reasons, you're not allowed to be on the island. So, no problem, we thanked them very much and went on our way. And we did proceed to spend 2 very nice days sitting in this anchorage and just enjoy the absolute quiet and tranquility. It was beautiful. Everybody enjoyed some swimming time, some nice dinners, and just relaxing. And then it was time to go. Panama, here we come. Oh yeah, here we go. We flying. We got 14 knots just forward of the beam. Just over 9 knots. Nice. 13 knots. Yeah, the sea is flat calm. That's what's unusual, huh? Look at that, the boat is level. Flat calm. Evo is somewhere back there. Not sure where, but in the rain.